McLaren has been building racing cars for over 50 years, but they didn't start making road cars until 4 years ago. What did McLaren bring to the racing world?
You're right, Bruce McLaren Motor Racing was founded in 1963, and back then what we brought, as well as winning races, was courage. And since then McLaren has been consistently pushing boundaries to the point that sadly our founder Bruce McLaren was tragically killed in a crash at Goodwood Motor Racing Circuit, trying out a new type of nose nostril on his racing car. But what that brings to us today is we say that our racing heritage across Can-Am, Formula One, and of course Le Mans, we're the only manufacturer to win that race on our first outing. It opens the door to us selling sports cars today to our customers. And as we are now sitting in a car, they then take the test drive, and that's what finally seals the deal.
How did the business grow in the early period?
Well, as a motor racing company, it remained small, and in fact, when the founder died, it almost finished then completely. But it was actually Bruce McLaren's wife, Patty, who got people back in the office the next day. They thought that what Bruce would want is them not to give up, but to keep on going. And along with Ferrari, we're the only brand to have been racing for that length of time. As I say, he was always wanting to push boundaries, but he didn't want to stay in motor racing. He actually wanted to found a road car company. And in 1969, he produced a car called the M6 GT. His own car, that one car still exists. It's owned by a current McLaren customer living in America. But tragically, when he died, his dream never came to fruition. Fast forward to 2009. McLaren Racing then made the decision that, to reinvent the idea of having a road car company, founded McLaren Automotive. The story then moves very quickly. 2011, we launched our first car, the 12C, opened our first retailer in 1 Hyde Park, London, and opened the factory, the McLaren Production Centre in Woking, England. And at that point, we made a promise to launch at least one new car derivative every year. We've more than kept that promise. We've grown now to 82 retailers across 30 countries, but the story hasn't finished yet. Our growth is still continuing.
How do you think McLaren managed to make such success in such a quick amount of time?
I guess keeping focused on what we know and what we can do best, which is producing sports and supercars. We're very aware that some of our luxury rivals are diversifying into other segments. But we decided to start small, start with the 12C, our core segment called the Super Series. We then added a product you may have heard of called the McLaren P1 back in 2013. 3 years ago, in this very space at Geneva Motor Show, we announced then that we were going to make 375 units, arguably producing the most technologically advanced car ever to come out of the UK. Those sold out in 5 months. And that was the start really of really spreading the fame of the brand. We followed that up a year ago with the most attainable McLaren yet. We're calling it the Sports Series. This is the family of sports cars, as the name suggests. Today at Geneva, we've launched the 570 GT, which brings that family to 3 cars. All of these are handcrafted in our factory in Woking, England, and will remain that way. Sports Series is interesting because this is the car that's charged with more than doubling our volume in less than 2 years. And thus far, the story is going great. We have more than 6-month order bank for this car. We predict that we will double our volume to about 3,000 units in 2016 and then get up to 4,000 units in 2017.
So what are the new features on the 570 GT?
Well, 570 GT is perhaps the McLaren that stretches our brand the most, in that it's the most luxurious car we've ever produced. It's the most comfortable McLaren we've ever produced. And it's also, as you'll see behind you with the case, the most practical McLaren ever produced. If that sounds a bit oxymoronic, think about that this car actually, if you add the rear luggage capacity with the front, yes, you've got more trunk space than an average hatchback.
Really?
Yet, we're still sitting in a carbon fibre tub, just like our Formula One cars. This car will still accelerate to 60 miles an hour in not much over 3 seconds. It will still do more than 200 miles an hour. But what we've done is we've taken the existing 570S Coupe softened the suspension slightly, taken out some of the steering ratio to make it more of a long distance car, quietened the exhaust just a little. But reaction to this car from the customers who've been seeing it over the last day has been amazing.
First one with the glove box. First McLaren with the glove box?
Yes, well done, Chris. It's also the first McLaren with door pockets, and not much use to me, I haven't got much hair, might be better for you. It's the first McLaren ever with a vanity mirror.
Now, this is not the only car that you've unveiled at the Geneva Motor Show this year, is it?
No, it's not. The other car making its public debut here is the McLaren 675 LT Spider, which arguably is the most successful McLaren we've ever launched. So we didn't plan this car. We launched the 675 LT, which stands for long tail, a year ago at the Geneva show in coupe form, announced then 500 units priced at £250,000. Those sold out in about 4 months. Some of the customers who weren't so lucky came to us and said, yes, please, Mr. Clown, I love it, but may we please have an open top version, or as we call it, a Spider. We looked at, was it technically feasible? Yes, it was. So beginning of December, at a private customer event at our headquarters in Woking, we revealed the car, expecting it might take 4 or 5 months again to sell. But in fact, these 500 cars went in less than 3 weeks. So again, I'm afraid you're also too late, Chris. But we're showing the car here because we've got customers who have ordered the cars coming to see it for the first time. Amazingly, people love McLaren so much they will buy the car without even having seen it. And we're showing the car here in 2 different colorways to help them decide what color they may want on their car.
What is next for McLaren?
Well, yesterday we announced our Track 22 business plan. That, as the name suggests, documents where McLaren is tracking over the next 6 years to 2022. We want our volume to climb to about 4,000 cars a year off the back of the Sports Series range. Still staying in Woking, still making sports and supercars. We've already been profitable for the last 2 years, and this sadly isn't about paying me a handsome Christmas bonus. It's about ploughing that money back into new product. So what that gets us is over the next 6 years, 15 new cars. There'll be more with the LT of a long tail brand. We're also moving towards increased hybridization in our cars. So by the end of the business plan, around 50% of McLarens that you buy will have a hybrid drivetrain. And we've also kicked off a research project into what a McLaren pure electric vehicle might be like. And for us, there are many questions we need to answer about how you can put all the excitement, the noise that you experience in a current McLaren into an electric vehicle. So this will help answer those for us. But the one thing I'm afraid you won't be getting from McLaren is an SUV.
Why not?
Our business is sports cars. It's what we know. It's what we love. We don't need to make one. And our customers aren't asking us for one.